What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF. Welcome to the first video of the off-season, guys. We got a lot to cover. We're gonna get started today. Very important video, and moving forward, I mean, they're all gonna be important because we're only gonna be covering important topics. But I'm glad to be back. Hopefully, you guys got some time to hit the refresh button after that tough loss, and we can, clear our minds and actually think objectively. Because let's be real, anytime your favorite team gets eliminated, there's going to be a lot of hot takes out there, a lot of trade this, cut everybody. But now we got a couple of days to let everything simmer down. We should be solid. And we're going to talk NBA basketball. We're going to talk playoffs. We're going to talk Lakers, which is the most important thing. But overall, guys, the season's over now. Now we got to figure out what we're going to do moving forward with the players, with the coaching staff, with rotations, and with free agents, and also the draft coming up. So looking forward to covering and breaking down everything with you guys. Now I want to get into a topic of conversation, man, about the Lakers. Right? You guys been hearing all the rumors. Let's start with the first thing the Lakers have to do this offseason to make sure that we get back in the hunt next season. Okay, number one most important thing, and this one is crucial. We have to monitor Damien Lillard's situation, or any star player that can really make an impact, like a Bradley Beal or anybody of that sorts. We have to monitor their situation, because if there's any way we can get involved, we're going to have to make a splash. He said, what hurts more, the Flippers made it further than us this year? Heck no. Andrew, I had them losing in the second round. I said Clippers in 7 because Kristaps probably won't show up. So I'm not even concerned about that. They're exactly where they're supposed to be, second round exit. Hey, thank you guys for joining me today. How you guys feeling? We're getting into the topic of conversation, which is a list of things the Lakers should prioritize this offseason, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. So again, if you guys haven't heard, Damian Lillard was interested in Jason Kidd, right, a couple days ago, or so the rumors go. We're going to hear tons of rumors. Take them with a grain of salt. But I found it interesting that, Terry Stotts got fired, and Damian Lillard is putting pressure on the franchise to do something. And there's a rumor going that somebody close to Damian Lillard is saying that he's going to monitor the situation on the Portland Trail Blazers and see how the offseason goes. Depending on that, he may or may not request a trade. So I find it extremely intriguing. I don't think we have the assets, but you never know. Maybe you can flip a couple of assets and get more draft picks, and then you can maybe get involved today. But overall, the number one thing, again, we have to monitor not just Damian Lillard's situation, but any situation where we get into it. What if Bradley Beal becomes available all of a sudden, or Zach LaVine, or anybody like that? The key here is that it would be crucial for us to extend LeBron and Anthony Davis's career by adding a third piece, right? A third piece that could consistently help carry the Lakers, especially since LeBron's 1 year older. Anthony Davis got injured again this season. They're going to need time to heal. I was thinking if they're not all the way healthy come the start of preseason, maybe we won't play into the regular season, or maybe a couple of days into the regular season. So that would be awesome if we can pull something off. However, monitoring it doesn't mean taking action, because let's be real, most likely any team that trades for Damian Lillard is going to have to give up a farm or a slew of draft picks, which we do not have, or a bunch of young assets, which we have a couple, but not. I think the market for Damian, if he does eventually get traded, is going to be at an all-time high. The number two thing we have to do, guys, this offseason, and I'll get into the comments right after I'm finished covering it, but I want to get my train of thought out before I lose, I get off course here. So save your comments for a little bit. The number two thing we have to do is make tough decisions on who's coming back and who is not. Now, if you guys haven't been to my page, I dropped a little paragraph on, who is going to be restricted, unrestricted. Let me see if I can show you guys here the screen. Give me 1 second. Let me set that up. Okay, cool. Tab. All right. If you guys go to my page, it's always good to be subscribed with the post notification bell. You see here, we have the list of players that are going to be available, unrestricted free agents or free agents. Okay. Number one, unrestricted free agent Dennis Schruter. Now, this is a controversial one, right? Dennis the Menace was so bad that even the great Magic Johnson, of course, he always says common sense things, says he wasn't feeling the body language of Dennis Schruter, and that he's not Laker material. He doesn't foresee him coming back. However, that doesn't mean that we can't go ahead and sign and trade him. Right now, he may or may not get the money he's requesting in the open market. Some team might be dumb enough to give it to him, or maybe everybody wising up and saying, well, he can't play with LeBron and the championship contender. What makes you think he's going to make us better? Unless, again, they're just selling tickets. A lot of teams out there that do that. So, Dennis Schruter, what do you guys think we should do with him? I'm going to head over to the comment section. For me, I say best case scenario. Now my mind is clear. I was saying let him walk, but that's not thinking logical. I think we have to sign and trade him for whatever we can get in return, because whether he walks or not, it's not going to clear up cap space. We're already going to be close to the limit. So not only that, but the Lakers still have a little dang on the books. This is going to be his final season. So I see a lot of you guys saying trade, sign, and trade. The only way Damien will end up with the Lakers if he requests a trade to the Lakers. I agree with that one. And I see that as a long shot. I still think Damien, what is he, in his second year of his 5-year max contract or something like that? So he's still got plenty of time, they have plenty of time to build around him. They might even end up trading CJ for the right package. You never know. But bottom line is, it's going to be interesting to monitor that. All right, but back to Dennis Schruter. Sign and trade. Okay, you guys agree with me. I agree. We should sign and trade him and see what's available. Now, beggars can't be choosers. The market might not be too high for him, but there might be somebody like the Knicks. Maybe we can do a sign and trade package for Derrick Rose. You never know, even though I doubt it. Tom Thibodeau loves Derrick Rose. But shout out to my boy Kevin King. He made a proposal that I kind of liked for Derrick Rose or something like that, right? But we'll see. Maybe the Knicks are looking for something else, more. I don't know. I don't know how that would be an upgrade for them, maybe age-wise to fit in with their scheme. But it'll be interesting. You say, good night, Dan. Next year we will own LeBron. We'll be 100% with a vengeance. Next year we will own. Oh, I see what you mean. If Damien Lillard becomes available, who would you give up? I'd give up everybody except Anthony Davis and LeBron for Damien Lillard, just to pair those three up. Hey, what up, Blink Beats? What's up, brother? How you doing, man? He said, I want Miles Turner. Miles Turner would be dope as well because he's a rim protector, great rebounder, and he can stretch the floor and score in the paint. So, yes, I wouldn't mind Miles Turner. That would be a nice option. I'm not sure, again, if Indiana's interested in Dennis the Menace, but, it'll be interesting. Okay, moving on. Let's run through this list quickly because I got a couple other points to do. You got Montrezl Harrell with the player option. Most likely, he's going to opt out and try to get more money elsewhere or even here, but I doubt it because the relationship between him and the coaching staff wasn't very good. So I foresee him leaving us and maybe clearing up a little bit of cap space there. Wesley Matthews, unrestricted. He clearly said in his exit interviews he wants to come back. So I can see him coming back on a similar, contract to the one he signed this season. He said, good to see you still posting. I got you, Maurice. I got you guys all season. Had to clear my mind for a couple of days, man. Went out to the beach, just hit the reset button because it's always frustrating when your favorite team gets bounced early in the playoffs. But now that I think about it, it could be a blessing in disguise. Now, if we weren't going to win the championship due to health, I'd rather us exit early. That way our guys can get more rest. That way our front office knows how to put in work. And if you guys heard what Rob Pelinka said, he said that, they're not going to rest until they built another championship team. So clearly he could see that. Now, he did say one thing that concerns me. He said he wants to bring back most of the core players. Now, what do I mean by core? Dennis, Montrez, THT, Kuz, LeBron, AD, obviously they're staying. I consider them to be the core. So I think there needs to be more moves than that if we want to contend. So hopefully he's just talking, but that's what he said. He said basically he wants to keep most of the core. Now, again, that could just be smoothing things over to try to get a sign and trade with Dennis. It could be anything. But Caruso is the next one on the list. He's unrestricted. I'd like to bring him back, but at a fair price. If he goes over 10 mil, I don't think he's worth it, to be honest with you, man. But that's just me. THC restricted. We got to bring him back. Dudley unrestricted. He's a great locker room guy, but we're going to need more able bodies. I would like to see him go, even though I like the guy. But I need more able bodies who can perform. We need more options. You see what happened with the injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see what happened with the injuries. So we need more people that can step up just in case. So I would say cut Jared Dudley and give his spot to somebody with some actual skill set who can come in here and perform. And then you got Markieff Morris, who also said he wants to come back, but he was really bad this season. He only played good and during a small stint when Anthony Davis got injured earlier in the season, and he stepped up for the starting lineup. But other than that, I don't know, man. I would give him the minimum if he wants to come back. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but for the minimum. TAC, he's restricted. I think he's a must sign. Obviously, you know, he can only make a maximum of like 9.5 mil or something like that. So if any other team offers him that, we have to match. You know, that's my opinion, at least on that. What do you guys think on that? Then you got McLemore. I'd love to bring him back. I think he brought a lot of good, consistent shooting and even some decent defense from time to time. And then the controversial one, the one I really want to talk about, Andre Drummond. Now, Andre Drummond, okay, to me, was a big disappointment, just like Dennis, because I expected so much more. I expected Detroit Pistons Andre Drummond. We didn't even get Cleveland Cavalier Andre Drummond. All right, he shrunk under the spotlight. I guess he'd never been. Had he been into the playoffs? I'm not sure if he had. But with Andre Drummond, yeah, I think we might have to pass unless he comes at the mid-level exception. That's the only way I want him back because it is good bang for your buck, even if you bring him off the bench. But that's it, all right? I'm not sure I want to spend over 10 mil for Andre Drummond. You know, that position in the NBA has changed so much. You need guys that specialize in either shooting or rebounding and defense, right? Or both would be ideal, but those are rare. You know, overall, I think his era was probably like 10 years ago. And so I'm not sure I'm sold on Drummond. I would prefer to go after another big who could potentially stretch the floor a little bit more. Even like a Joseph Nurkic would be all right because he's more of a banger down low. He has more post moves. But yeah, I think he was okay, but I'm not giving him more than 5 to 7. That's it, you know. But that's my opinion. What do you guys think of Drummond? He said, Dan, I will bring back Andre if he works with Kareem. I mean, there's a take. Rumors are they want to keep him, but who knows? A lot of rumors right now are misleading. You can't believe anything you hear. It's too early. But right now, there's a lot of clickbait and articles. That's why I'm here to give you guys the real. I'm not going to talk about rumors that are false unless I say take them with a grain of salt. It's just interesting to look at. But overall, I'm not going to pay much attention to them. We don't know who's coming back at this point. It's still early. The playoffs are still going. There's a rumor that the free agency might hit before the draft. I'd love it if that happened because then we can address our needs. And if we do end up keeping the pick, we can draft based on the best talent available, not needs. So we'll see what happens there. But back to Drummond. I don't know. He said Drummond is trash. I'd rather have Dwight Howard. Yeah, Dwight Howard plays his role as a defensive big and a rebounder and a shot blocker better. So I agree with you there. I thought Drummond, he disappointed me. I thought he'd be a little bit better. He had his bright moments here and there, but not consistently enough. We need consistency from that position. I think that's a position we should address this summer. That's one of the main ones. We got other positions. We got the shooting guard. KCP disappointed me. I think the Lakers might deal him in a package with Kuz to try to get something more consistent. You know, maybe a Buddy Hield or something like that. I don't know. Just throwing names out there for now. But it'll be interesting to see what happens at the shooting guard and especially at the point guard position. If we can get a Derrick Rose type, even though I doubt it, again, Tibbs is high on Rose and he had a spectacular playoff. But I'm just throwing the archetype type that we should go after. You know, that combo scoring point guard. If we can find one out there, I say get him because we need some help for AD and LeBron. That way they can stay healthy because if you take pressure off those guys, then they get to the playoffs healthy and then they can do their damage there. But we'll see. Again, back to the list right quick. We got Antetokounmpo. He hasn't shown any growth, so I say cut him, give his two-way spot to somebody who might be a diamond in the rough. We got Lakers are great. The front office is great at finding those. And K-Cock, I'm not sold on him. He's kind of he's a workhorse. I do like that. He has an engine. But he kind of brings what Tariq Black brought to the team a couple years ago, which isn't bad, except Tariq did it better, and he couldn't even make the roster. So why should K-Cock? Again, the NBA is changing. We need bigs who can stretch the floor. That way they can keep it spaced out for AD and LeBron to operate in the paint. I think we need to get with the times here. You know, that's just me, though. But, yeah, that's how I feel about that, guys. What do you guys think of that topic right there? I head over to the comment section and see what you guys thought of my opinion there. He said, Kyle Lowry, nah, I'll pass on him. Unless he comes at a cheaper price. If he wanted one of them big-time extensions, I say no. He's not going to be worth it in a year or two. We want Dame Dollar. Oh, man, we'd love to have Damien. If somehow the basketball gods could listen, Damien Lillard is prime time. He's born to play and wear the purple and gold. He's born for the purple and gold, baby. And I think Damian Lillard on the Lakers would wreak havoc, the lights of which we've never seen since Kobe Bryant, basically. I mean, other than Kobe Bryant, what's another combo guard you can say was on the Lakers? Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, guys who can get their own bucket. It's been a while since we had those guys. Most of them have been spot up shooter types like Derek Fisher. We need on this team a spot up shooter that's consistent would be solid. But imagine somebody who could take pressure off LeBron and also get his own buckets. That would be nice. DeRozan would be solid at the right price. I wouldn't mind. He also improved his 3-point shooting, but it has to be the right price. We can't overpay for these players because we're going to need depth. And that's the key this year. The Lakers need a clean house. Keep Bron, THT, and build around them. Everybody else can go. I'm kind of with Lance here. I was really disappointed in the role players, and I wouldn't mind to see major changes because, look, Markieff Morris, my boy Lonnie was telling me Markieff, he read in an article somewhere that Markieff was complaining about team chemistry and how guys weren't sacrificing enough. That starts with our guards. That starts with guys like KCP and guys like Dennis Schruter, especially, guys who handle the ball in the backcourt. And then, the bigs, they really rely on those guards. So if our bigs are saying stuff like that, then we need guys who can actually distribute. Lonzo Ball comes to the mind, right? Guys who put the team before the I, right? There's no I in team. So guys who actually get guys into their spots, those are the kind of guys I think we should pursue. But also, I've heard a rumor of Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott. He could be a good option because he's somebody who's lights out from beyond the arc. But again, here's the scary part. A lot of times we sign these players and they come here and they get camera shy. They can't perform under the bright lights. The purple and gold's too shiny for them or something. I don't know. They're small town players. So I worry about that. Now, moving on to the next point. The next thing we need to do this offseason, guys, and this might be the most important thing on the list here. Okay? We need to get healthy. Easy, simple. That means LeBron James, I'm glad he's not playing for Team USA. That's huge, okay? I'm glad he made the right move. I know it's hard for these superstars because it's iconic to play for Team USA. It only happens every so often, but this is the right move at this point of his career. He doesn't need to be putting any more mileage on his body. So he made the right move. I'm proud of him. AD, same. I don't want to see him anywhere near any sort of basketball court up until like September or October, to be honest with you. These guys need to come back 100% so that we so that we don't risk these type of injuries again. And a lot is going to factor into my previous point. The players we build around these guys, the players we bring around LeBron and AD this summer are going to help take pressure off of these guys and not force them to come back too soon. So we need that. That's point number 3. All right, get healthy. It's that simple. It's not hard. It's not nothing out of, that's going to blow your mind with these points. But these are important things we need in the offseason. And then the fourth and final thing I want to talk about before I head into the comment section is get creative in the offseason. We don't have a lot of cap space, guys. We don't have almost any cap space. Again, Lil Dang's still on the books for one more year. I can't wait till the next year's over and we can get his bum ass $5 million off the books. That can be a huge difference, okay? Depending on whatever Dennis Schroter does or not, we're going to be capped out. So that means everybody else got to sign on their veteran minimums or mid-level exceptions, or we can go over the cap to re-sign our players. But if we re-sign a lot of these players, it could easily be a sign and trade. Now, he said the biggest 2 problems on offense were overpassing and passing up wide open looks. I agree, brother, and this is why we have to get creative in the offseason. We got to bring in guys, and thanks for the donation, bro. I appreciate you. We got to bring in guys that come in here and are confident in their skill set and aren't afraid to play with the greatness of LeBron James and AD, because a lot of these guys are intimidated. They don't want to disappoint, okay? But I agree with you, man. That was a huge problem. I hate it when they look scared. I tweeted this out during, Game 5? I said, the bench looks scared. They don't want to shoot, including Kyle Kuzma and everybody. They didn't want to shoot. We need guys who can create for themselves and guys who can knock down shots. Guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., to be honest with you. Guys like that. Now, I'm not saying him specifically, but I'm saying guys that fit that mold that can go out there and get buckets. Now, if you guys just watched the Dallas Mavericks series, the biggest problem is that Luka Doncic was a one-man team, and the only one that consistently helped them throughout the series was Tim Hardaway Jr. Kristaps Porzingis was trash. Maxi Kleber, trash. Basically, everybody else was inconsistent. And that's what happened with the Lakers. Once AD went out, nobody was consistent other than LeBron James. And we can't have that again. We cannot repeat that. We need the depth. We need the confident players. We need veterans who are actually going to step up, right? He said, Dan, Zach LaVine and Buddy Hield, we won't be able to afford them both. If we can get one of those two, I'd be okay with it. I prefer Zach than Buddy, but I'd be okay. Hey, what's up, Sekou, man? Hey, Luka needs help, bro. That's all I got to say about that series, brother. Best of luck to you guys. If y'all can trade KP in a heartbeat, because he's falling off the face of the earth. But back to the Lakers again. We have to get creative. Now, you look at our roster. We have some pretty decent, lucrative contracts. Okay, one of them could be Dennis on a sign and trade. KCP, to me, a lot of teams I think will be interested because he's somebody who plays solid defense, which the league likes, and he's somebody who's maybe under less bright lights can knock down shots more consistently. Kyle Kuzma is another lucrative contract. Okay, maybe we could package two of those three together and try to land a star like you guys mentioned, DeRozan, or I don't know if it'll be enough for Zach, but whatever it takes, guys. If we need to include THT, we include him because as much as I love developing him, and I know he's going to be a star someday if he gets developed properly, Zach LaVine's already prepared to come in and bring buckets, and he's a UCLA product from LA native. I would love to have Zach LaVine. If it ain't Zach, Bradley Beal. If we could put together a package, remember, we have a draft pick in this year's draft, and it's the number 22nd overall. However, I believe you can't trade consecutive picks, and since we already traded last year's in the package with the Pelicans, I believe we would have to draft this player, and then he'd be eligible for trade sometime in October or November. I'm not sure. So, again, this is where point number 4 comes in. We have to get really creative in this offseason. I'm sure Rob specializes in this. Love you too, William. Love you too, man. I'm glad to have y'all back. I know it's been a couple of days since I showed up, but expect a lot more of me this offseason. Lego Nation for Life says Zach is from Kent. He's from Kent, Washington? I thought he was from LA. My bad. Apologies. Thanks for fact checking. But he is a UCLA product, so I do love the kid, and I'd love to bring him back. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. If Zach isn't available, DeRozan is good enough to replace Kuzma. I agree. At this point, I'm willing to try anything. Now, DeRozan is not a great three-point shooter per se. We are going to need more floor spacing, but what DeRozan is good at, mid-range killer. And he can always have that mid-range jump shot because it's always available in today's NBA. They don't really defend the mid-range jump shot. They defend the three-point line and the drive. It's weird like that. The NBA has evolved like that. Shout out to Steph Curry for ruining the NBA. I'm just playing. But seriously, the NBA changed since the shooting, lights out, and it became a three-point shooting or driving league. DeRozan's the one player that could take you to the mid-range, post you up, and do some things with the footwork, which are nice. And he's also a very decent defender, so I would not mind him. But there's going to be other options as well, and we have to keep our options open. Somebody said Norman Powell's a free agent. We won't have the cap space to sign him unless it's a sign and trade again. So, Rob Pelinka, please get creative. Now, those are my top 4 points, 4 things we have to focus on this offseason. Focusing on a star player like Damien Lillard and monitoring his situation and anybody else who becomes available. All right. Point number 2 was, let's see if I remember, make the tough decisions on who's coming back, who's getting cut, and who's getting traded. All right. Number 3, get healthy. And number 4, get creative in the offseason because we don't have too much cap space. What do you guys think? Do you guys like my top 4 priorities? And what would you change? And what would you add to that? I would love Gary Trent Jr., Dan. Is he unrestricted? And we won't be able to afford him. But again, sign and trades are the only way. What about CJ McCollum? If he becomes available, again, this is why I said we have to monitor Damian Lillard and any star situation, not just Damian's. I'm very curious to see what happens. He said, Dan, how about trading for Justin Holiday and Miles Turner? That would be solid. You would add 2 great defenders there. That would be solid, depending on the asking price. But yeah, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I do think one of the main priorities this offseason is the center position. All right, we need more production there defensively and offensively, from that position. He said, can you cover the series? I want to see your take on it too. What series, brother? Yeah. If you guys requested enough, I will cover any series you guys want. The series to watch, the Utah Jazz versus the Clippers. I think the Utah Jazz are the perfect team to knock out the Clippers. And again, right on schedule, second round exit. I told you guys, I didn't believe the Mavericks could win because um, Luka wasn't getting enough help, and that's exactly what happened. And Kawhi is a machine. Damn him, I can't stand him anymore. I used to love him until he joined the Clippers. So you gotta give him props. He is a machine. All right, he's just he didn't let his team lose. Pandemic P showed up again in the last couple of games, and I was like, okay, here's the Mavericks' chances the last couple of games. But Kawhi, robot, boring head, Leonard ruined it. So now we got to watch this stupid team and root for them to lose in the second round. I think Utah's perfect. They got Mike Conley. They got Donovan Mitchell, two killers in the backcourt. Then you got guys like Joe Ingles, who's known for clamping up Paul George. There used to be all kinds of memes about how he's Paul George's dad. You got Bogdanovich, who's a knockdown shooter and a decent defender as well. You got defensive reigning player of the year, Rudy Gobert, even though I don't really think he's defensive player of the year. I give that to AD. You got Jordan Clarkson, sixth man of the year. You got guys like Derek Favors who can bang down low. You got some real dogs on that team. So I really think Utah is going to, fulfill the Clippers' destiny once again, second round exit. My boy said Jazz better beat the Clippers. Absolutely. Now, Mavericks fans and Laker fans are together on this. We both hate Clipper fans, and we have formed an alliance against the stupid Clipper fans. And anybody they face, we root for them. We root for anybody they face. He said, can we draft Cameron Thomas or Cooper? I'm not going to get into the draft talk yet. I got to do my research a little bit more and give you guys my picks and who I think would be good and would fit. If the Lakers are going to keep that pick, which I doubt, it's going to have to be an NBA ready player. Even though I would like Ju Zhang from UCLA, I think the Lakers are probably going to go with somebody who's more NBA ready, who has more years under his belt in college, and who's ready to perform. If they keep the pick, that's a huge if. Most likely, though, they will trade the pick. I will still cover it just in case we keep it. But it'll be interesting to see what Rob does. He's got some options now. He's going to have to not show his hand. Rob Pelinka has been known to be a shark. He makes moves in the offseason that nobody sees coming, like Montrez and all that, Marc Gasol, all that. So hopefully he gets it right this offseason because he kind of got a little bit wrong last offseason. By not re-signing Rondo and Dwight, that hurt us big time. He said, Clippers lucky Kawhi was carrying them on the back, and the Zebras were calling a lot of BS in their favor. Like, how can you not count Luka Doncic's and one, but then you count Kawhi's on the exact same play? It just shows the biasness towards them, and it gets really annoying. He said, yeah, watching the Hawks, he said, we look like amateurs. I love the way the Hawks have built. I really underestimated them. I thought the Knicks would beat them in that series. But Trae Young has elevated his game to another level. That's why I've always been a fan of him. People ask me, Dan, why do you hate Trae? He flops. Why don't you hate Trae like you hate James Harden? He flops a lot. No, he doesn't flop nearly as much as James Harden. I think Trae is smarter. He stops and he goes and he stops and he goes. If the defensive player runs into him, that's their fault for not having control. You got to use that against him. He's undersized, so he uses what he has to his advantage. Super skilled in the lane, deadly shooter. Now, the reason I hate James Harden, he's dirty. He hooks players' arms. He flops way more. He's a million times worse. Devin Booker, same. Devin Booker's dirty. Every time he starts losing, he tries to injure players. You got the Chris Paul trade. That's why I dislike those players. But Trae Young's one of my favorite. You see why. He's a killer. Ice Trae. That's why they call him that. He's cold, man. He's cold. He said, Dan, I'm ready for the draft lottery. He said, for my Thunder, and which will be the biggest day in Thunder history. Well, tune in, brother. Every draft lottery, I watch it live, especially when we have a pick. And I at least cover the first round. Most of the time, I dip in the second round because it's too long. But I'll be breaking down everybody's draft pick by pick, including your Thunder's pick. So tune in if you want to hear my analysis on that, and we'll be breaking it down. I can't wait. I love draft day. It's just such an amazing time. The offseason is always funnest for the NBA than it is for other sports. So gotta love the NBA. It's a year-round sport. He said, Daniel House would be a cheap Kuzma replacement. All it would take is a second-round pick. We don't need any hot-headed distractions. You see how bad chemistry leads to an early first-round exit. Let's be real. Even though injuries really impacted us, Dennis Schruter and his bad lack of chemistry and body language really hurt the team this year. You can hear it in the exit interviews. They weren't as together as they were last year. So we need players, unlike Daniel House, that can come in here, buy in, respect the coaching staff, respect the star players, and put the team first. Okay, that's That's one reason I'm not really sold on Daniel House. We saw what type of player he is in the bubble. He didn't put his team first, you know. He said we really need some shooters. Exactly, Jordan. And this was one of my points. It's crucial for Rob to get creative in the offseason because we don't have a lot of wiggle room. So this is where his basketball savvy and Mamba mentality comes in, right? This is where he has to be a killer and make the right swift moves and make them before the opposition snoops him out and trade blocks him like they always try to do to the Lakers. So we got to do some important moves and we got to manage the cap and our flexibility extremely close, man. We got to monitor that. William Scott, appreciate you, bro. He said, if we sign and trade, then we will sign our own players and minimum players. We will be hard capped. That is true. We will be hard capped. That's why trades are very valuable, William Scott. I think this season, more than free agency, look for trades, okay? We have to get creative. It might be somebody you don't even hear about. Watch it be like a Brogdon or something like that. But we need some depth at both the center position and the point guard and shooting guard position. We're good at small forward with LeBron there. We're good at power forward with AD there. We might need some backup there in those positions. But I'm talking about primary starting positions. We need the guard positions, both of them filled up with consistency, and the center position with consistency as well on both ends of the floor. And maybe potentially floor spacing if available. Intel, wow, appreciate you, bro. You said, Dan, Kuz, THC, and Dennis for Lillard, Beal, and Zach. That'll never happen, bro. That's a pipe dream. That is a I completely read that wrong. I'm sorry. Kuz, THC, and Dennis for either, right? You forgot to put either. Lillard, Beal, or Zach. Yes, in a heartbeat. Okay, in a heartbeat. I've always said, I love THC. I like Kuz. But for the right piece, I'm willing to trade them. Of course, it's always Lakers first, man. And that's the thing a lot of fans don't understand. They call me a Kuzma writer and all this because I defended him when he was playing good and people trashed him. But if you go back in this channel, I defended Brandon Ingram. I defended D'Angelo Russell. I defended Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle. I defended every single young core piece when Laker fans got impatient and tried to bring out the pitchforks because I knew they would be special. So I didn't do anything different. It's still Lakers first. And if it's the right trade package, of course I'm doing it. Absolutely, man. He said, I know you want Kuz to stay here, but Kuz got to go. Sometimes he acts like he don't play basketball. I agree with you, Jordan. I actually don't disagree. And I wanted Kuz to stay so long as he performed when it mattered the most in the playoffs. So far, 2 playoffs, and he's been inconsistent. So I'm ready. I'm ready to release him into a system that'll prioritize him. I think it'll be good for him, and it'll be good for us as well because, as you know, his growth was stunted. I feel like he could have been so much of a better player. He was a killer his rookie year and his sophomore year. He was a killer. All right. It wasn't until LeBron got here, new coaching staff, and everything switched up that they kind of stunted his growth. So I'm kind of ready to cut him loose. Exactly what happened with the rest of the young core will happen with him. I'll still be a fan of his. He'll be producing elsewhere, and we probably get a piece that fits our schemes a little bit better. Again, I'm very Laker first. I'm pro Laker first. This is the misconception people have about me because I defend a player doesn't mean I'm a fanboy now. Obviously, Kuz was one of my favorite young core pieces because he came in as a killer since the summer league, and eventually, everybody turned on him, but I just never turned on him. However, I do agree that he might be a better fit elsewhere, and we might get a better fit in return. So that's about it. He said, is it possible for us to grab Coach Brad Stevens? I'm not sure. He's good at developing young players, but I doubt it. I mean, obviously, he hasn't got fired. He's still a Celtic. So, yeah, most likely not. Lakers should have kept BI and trade Kuzma to the Pelicans. Art of War, that was impossible. You have to put yourself in the place of the Pelicans front office. They weren't going to do that trade. They weren't going to trade the great Anthony Davis who helped deliver a championship to you for just Kuz, Lonzo, and Josh Hart and picks. No, it was any trade was going to have to involve Brandon Ingram. That's why I don't really like that comment. I try to explain it to you guys over and over. We didn't have the choice. We couldn't sub those rumors that we could have subbed one for the other were not true. David Griffin is a smart GM. This isn't NBA 2K where you can force a trade, right? So I don't like that comment because it's not legit. That was never an option. It never was. And so woulda, coulda, shoulda, I still do that trade a million times out of a million. We ended up with a championship. They haven't even made the playoffs. So much for that, and we have to be thankful for what we have. That's what makes us look like more spoiled fans than we are, because we're not thankful. We just fresh off of winning a championship. You know, I'm proud of my team, and I'm ready for next season already. But at the same time, we can't say comments like that at all. He said, Dan, what's happening in the offseason? A lot. A lot. A lot is going to happen in the offseason. I'm going to bring you everything that happens. I promise you that. He said, I hope the Lakers will keep THC, Harrell, Matthews, and McLemore. Yeah, we need those guys for sure. We need look, but here's the thing about THT and all those other guys. If there's a sign and trade to be had that's going to improve our roster, I'm willing to do it. Other than that, I agree. I like all of those players you mentioned. He said, I'm not turning on Kuzma. I'm just calling him out. Actually, I'm over him. Take a hike, dude. But we do need to get valuable return in plays because he's still very capable. So we shouldn't just throw him away like some hater fans say, you know? He said, like the video, 241 in here. There's 70 likes. Support Big DTLF. Thanks, Tony P. I appreciate you, bro. He said, DTLF, do you think we have another third star coming to the Lakers with LeBron and AD? To be honest with you, a modern day third star, like a grade A third star, like a Damien Lillard or a Curry, I don't think so. Even though I could be wrong, we are the Lakers and we make magic happen sometimes. But in the position we're in, a lot of teams don't want to trade with us, and we don't have extreme trade assets. There's other teams that have way more trade assets than us. So for those reasons, I don't think it'll be an A-lister. I do think it could be a B-lister. I think it could be a has-been, maybe like a Kyle Lowry or a Russell or somebody like that, Russell Westbrook. It could be that. But most likely it's going to be a bunch of good role players, capable, good, starting, veteran-type role players, most likely. I'd love it if it was a superstar like Dame. Y'all know how I feel about him. I'm a big fan of him and CJ. I wouldn't even mind CJ. CJ would be a great fit here. Imagine if Portland Trailblazers say, okay, we need some more size here. We'll give you guys CJ McCollum for Taylor Horton-Tucker and Kyle Kuzma and a second-round pick or a first-round pick even. Would you guys do that? I would, because CJ McCollum is a bucket, man. He's somebody who's not afraid in the playoffs. He's somebody who I think can really feed off of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the commanding double teams. Can you imagine how many knockdown shots he would hit? And he's somebody who has great ball handle, very underrated backward player. It might be something like that. Like I said, a B tier star. You know, maybe Portland is trying to make a move. Maybe they like Kuz. Maybe they like our future. Maybe they want KCP. You know, maybe they want KCP, Kuz. It could be any combination. Maybe they want Dennis Schruter and Kuz. It could be a combination of players. But if we get the right combination and they'll take the trade, we do it in a heartbeat. CJ McCollum, perfect fit for the Lakers. Even though I prefer Damien because he's more of a killer. But that's what I'm saying. You got to think a little bit outside the box. You got to look. This is why I say monitor the Damien Lillard situation, because this is when sometimes teams make the wrong moves, thinking that, you know, a player that we might have might benefit them more than the one they currently have, and they make a mistake. You end up winning the trade, and as a result, you could end up winning the championship. So it could be something B-list or C-list type star, but you just don't know. You said, who are you rooting for, Mexico or USA in the soccer match that's happening right now? Of course, Mexico, man. That's my mother's motherland. You know, even though I got nothing but love for Team USA in the basketball, I despise Team USA in soccer, man. I hate them. They did disrespectful things before. You know, when Landon Donovan used to play, he peed on the Aztec statue in Mexico City. I'll never respect that franchise for that. You know, even though I live in the USA and I love my country. But Mexico all the way, man. Mexicans, is one thing about us. We're very patriotic about our parents' countries. We just go for them. So, but it should be a good matchup, man. Are they? I can't wait to tune in a little bit. I'm looking forward to it. He said Robinson will be nice. Robinson. What Robinson are we talking about, brother? He said, thanks for the prayers, Dan. The Laker fan. He said, I just beat COVID in 6 days. Hey, Vincent. Congrats, bro. I'm happy you and your family are doing better. That actually makes my day. Thank you, brother. I prayed for you. I swear I prayed for you as soon as this video was over. As soon as that video was over. So I'm not the type that says prayers up and don't pray. I actually try to build my relationship with God. You know, again, I'm not religious, but I believe in God. The Jazz or the strippers, I got the Jazz all day. The depth the Jazz have. I mean, think about it. Luka Doncic, by himself and a little bit of help from Tim Hardaway Jr., almost beat the Clippers, which tells you how fragile they are. They needed the help from the Zebras the whole way. Oh, you mean Duncan Robinson? Duncan Robinson would be awesome, Jackie. Absolutely. I like Duncan Robinson. He would be a good fit here with us. Jimmy Neutron and Hollywood. Showtime, baby. Just because he's such a knockdown shooter, he's one of the best ones in the league. And he's young still. So, yeah, that would be nice. But again, the asking price and the limited cap space, it would have to be somewhat of a sign and trade. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, but he's a knockdown shooter, Savage. Forget about the price range. I mean, who would you rather have, Dennis Schruter or Duncan Robinson? I'd rather have a known commodity that can come in and, give you 20 plus off of LeBron James double teams for sure. Am I going to watch Logan Paul versus Mayweather? Probably not. I know Mayweather's going to whoop his ass. There's no way Logan Paul's going to win that. Heck no. And I'll just watch the highlights, to be honest with you. Is it DTLF, a rest of LeBron and a healthy AD next season? He said, ooh, wee. He said, I can't wait. Me too, Jordan. That's why I made that, that's why I made that a crucial point in this video. And there'll be so many more videos as news drops, guys. I'm gonna be breaking down everything with you guys. You guys know where to find me. I'm keeping my ear low to the ground right now, and I'm seeing what these rumors are. If there's a valuable rumor that's said by Wojnarowski or Shams, you guys know where to find me. That's gonna wrap it up for me now because I have to go take care of some business. But I appreciate y'all, man. Hang in there, Laker Nation. The pride is still big time, man. The pride is still big time. We still champions, man. We fresh off of a championship last year. Wouldn't be prouder. I couldn't be prouder of my team. And we're gonna make a huge comeback, a huge splash. ESPN's already counting us out for next year. They said, oh, we're in trouble. The West is younger, deeper, blah, 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 blah. Prisoners of the moment. This is why I don't watch ESPN consistently, other than little videos here and there that people send me. So again, I love it when they talk crap because they're always wrong, and I'm looking forward to it, man. If it wasn't for injuries, we probably would have been champions again this year, even though we weren't as deep. Would have probably been really hard for LeBron and AD, but I'm sure they would have carried us to another chip. We need to get more bench and depth for them to be able to operate better and easier. But again, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much. Anything happens, you guys know where to find me. If you guys have any video suggestions, drop them on my Twitter in the comment section. If I get enough of those, I got you guys. So keep it locked. Make sure to smash the like button on your way out. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for donations and all the support you guys always drop on the channel. I'll see you guys soon. Love, Laker Nation. Peace out.